Welcome to the Manifestation Lab. This is your host, Kelly Howe. From the grounded science to the mystical and unseen, we're investigating this big experiment we call life and finding what really works when it comes to manifesting a life that sets your heart and your soul on fire. Welcome to the lab. Guerda Victor is a business and money consciousness coach. She helps spiritual entrepreneurs, mystics, and seekers who are ready to call in more cash in their business doing their sacred work in the world, heal their money trauma, and yes, there is money trauma, bust through their financial fears, and activate their unique cash frequency to create wealth and abundance they deserve in their businesses and their lives. Guerda holds a master's in mental health and counseling with a specialty in trauma. She has 20 years of experience in mind, body, and energy therapy. She uses her combined expertise in counseling, mind, body, energy mastery techniques to create the most transformative experience for her clients. Guerda is a money goddess. She is an incredible woman. I had the opportunity to meet her in Boston, doing a worldwide mastermind type group. And we just connected right away. Guerda is just a soul sister, beautiful energy inside and out. I love being in her energy. She just really embodies this grace and this badass goddess energy. That's the only thing I can call it. And I just love soaking it up when I'm with her. So I sat down with Guerda. We had an incredible conversation. I have to tell you though, the technology gods were not on my side, and my audio sounds like absolute poop. So I did my best. I am not a tech genius. If there's an audio expert out there that wants to help me with this stuff, I am more than open to that. But I have to admit, the audio on my side actually sounds really bad. So if you can muster through, please do. Our conversation is fantastic. We really get into talking about money and how it is just another energy that's out there in the world. And if we can embody our own self-love and our self-worth, we up our money game. I love talking to Guerda. My audio sounds like shit. So do your best to make your way through and enjoy the conversation. You sent this, I'd like to talk about consciousness hacks, and like everything you wrote, I was like, hell yes. That is exactly what I want to talk about. So welcome, Guerda. Thank you so much for being with me. You are just a lovely human, and I'm so happy to be here and be able to have this conversation. And I would love for you to start out by just telling us a little bit about yourself and your story and how you ended up in the transformation zone in the world where we live. And I'd just love to hear a little bit about you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kelly, for having me. Honestly, I was like, oh, I'm so excited to be here and to get into the conversation that we will get into, because you reaching out to me was a part of that conversation. Because I was like, I've been feeling like I need to speak more. And then you reached out and I was like, but of course, that's how it works.
Isn't that awesome? I love it when that happens. Totally magical. Perfect.
Yeah. So basically, I am all magic, transformation, and how to really embody your true self and create magic in your life. And this started with my own desire for that. Right?
As it does.
Yeah. Just having that sense of like something else is available here and I desire to experience it. A little bit about my background. I started out in health and wellness. I have a bachelor's in exercise science. And right after college, I went into massage school. So I became a massage therapist. So for a while, I was working as a massage therapist and a personal trainer. And even how I got into massage school after college is very interesting.
Yeah, I bet.
That was like,
I'm open to hearing about it if it's a good story.
Yeah. I mean, that was like 20. Yeah, it was about almost 20 years ago. I graduated again with a degree in exercise science. I think the field was still fairly new at the time. And I was like, what do I do with this thing?
Now what?
You know, I did an internship, but then I found out like the stuff that I did during internship that I really enjoyed, which was working in cardiac and pulmonary rehab, working with older adults who had experienced heart attacks or had COPD and had surgery and things like that, and to teach them how to exercise. And I had worked with patients who had never been on a treadmill before.
Oh my goodness.
Terrified, like 0.5 was like too fast for them. And then to watch the progression, right? By the end of their time with us, they're like at 2.5 and they're strolling. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I want to do this. And quickly found out that there weren't positions available for someone to do that with a bachelor's degree. And I was like, WTF?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I spent all this year and this money, and then and I knew that I didn't want to go back right away for a master's. I wasn't 100% certain that I wanted a master's in that. And so I was left with this option. Well, your only option is to go work in a gym and be a personal trainer. And I was like, that's interesting. I spent 4 years to go work in a gym and be a personal trainer.
Right.
Nothing against
I have
personal
a friend
training.
that had a very similar path, by the way, like same degree and ended up in the exact same, like working in a gym.
Yeah. And again, nothing against that, but I also know that you can do a weekend certification to become a personal trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And but I went to school for 4 years. Like, this doesn't add up. So I thought, well, what else can I do to combine with this that will give more? And massage therapy came into my awareness. I used to see massage in the movies. I thought it was a luxurious thing for only rich and wealthy people. Like, I had no idea what I was going to do with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yet I felt called to explore that. So I did. And I loved it. I went to an introductory session out of school, and I was like, oh my God, I want to do this. And even as I'm telling you this now, I am having chills. That opened up my world to the world of energy and body and consciousness and, all of the things. And I just wanted to learn more and more about that, how the body work, how the mind work, what's the connection between energy and spirit and all of that. I was just highly intrigued by, especially how we can hold trauma in our bodies that causes pain in the body. I certainly wanted to know more about that and how to combine mind and body therapy together. So of course,
it sounds like it hooked you. I have a really similar experience where it was like, once I learned tapping, I always call tapping like the gateway energy technique, because it was so body oriented and it hooked me. And it was like I couldn't not follow it. And it sounds like that was the same experience for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I was like, I want to bring this everywhere I go.
Yeah.
And
once it gets, you can't let it go.
And what started to happen during my massage sessions, people started to reveal traumatic experiences to me. And I was like, oh, I was not expecting that. I don't know what to do with that, right? Because it's like, well, it's out of your scope of practice. You're not a clinician. You can't, go there with people. But they were telling me stuff, crying. And I was like, okay, that must mean I should go back to school and get a degree in counseling. I did.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
I did.
I didn't know all this. This is fascinating.
Yeah. So I went to school for a degree in mental health and counseling. And what I will say is, before I did that, though, I knew I wanted to be a coach. I saw Iyanla Vanzant. I think I'm saying her name correctly.
I think so too. Yeah. And I love her.
On the show that used to be called Starting Over.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to do that. That thing she's doing. I don't know what that is, but I want to do that. So I went online to find, where can I go to learn about that, get a degree in life coaching? Because I think that's, at the time, that's what, she was called on the show. And I was like, wait, there's no school for that?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I did see a certification program, which speaks to how programmed we are to believe that you need degrees, you need certification. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think that's what she did. Like, I don't know if just a certification is going to get me to do this work. So the next best thing I thought was to go and become a mental health counselor, which I did. I went and got my master's in mental health to then realize something still didn't add up here. Just talk therapy does not help people.
I would love for you to talk just a little bit, about your experience with that, because that has been my personal experience. And that's the thing that I would say that my clients say to me over and over again is like, I've told these stories. I've been in therapy. I did the thing, and not to knock it. I mean, I think there's a place for it, but it feels to me like there's just so much more that we can be doing, and we are doing. But I would love to hear your experience with where that really fell short in your practice.
Yeah, well, it's exactly what you said. Just talking about it, right? Just talking about it is not what is going to bring the person out of that embodied state of victimization. Right? Like when they talk and they're reliving it and the sensations are arising, but just talking about it doesn't remove it from the body.
Yeah. And did you just see that in your practice, that it just felt like you were hitting a brick wall with people? Like they were trying so hard to heal and they're telling their story, but it just wasn't going anywhere?
Yeah. So I actually didn't, my intention was to go into private practice with my degree.
Oh, and you did. Okay.
But I did not, because before you can go into private practice, you got to get your license and you have to work under someone. So I was working in community counseling, and I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like I had to do it because you need to get a certain number of hours before you get your license. And because I started the other way, I started from mind and energy, and I went into talk therapy. I knew this wasn't the right, and I was like, I know better. Like I cannot do this to myself and just to get a certification, because I know I can help people in a different way. I will say though, the knowledge that I had from doing the work in the energy and in mind, body, I brought it into the work that I was doing with clients in community counseling. I had people getting off depression medication within just a few sessions. I had people, who had been in therapy with this, because there's a revolving door, like people come and clinicians leave because they get burned out. I mean, there's so much that we can get into with that. But and that for me was a gift, because it really showed me what I know to be true is true. These people are coming here. The system doesn't really support them in a way to get out of survival. At best, they are managing their symptoms, their whatever it is, but they're not moving beyond that. They're very stuck. So I brought mindfulness techniques in. I brought meditation. I brought EFT, and I was teaching them how to manifest.
I love it. Oh, we're going to get into that too.
And it was like, after I do all that, they get all these amazing things, and I have to write a damn progress note about what I did.
This sounds like me in nursing. I hated charting. Oh my God, I hated charting. Like, give me the patients. I will do the work, but please don't make me write what I just did. Oh my God, I hated that. I could still tap on that probably.
Yeah. And then what I did not love about it, aside from the amount of paperwork, but because it's so regulated, I had to now try to find clinical terms for what I did and make sure it aligns within the structure and
fits
the code.
In their box. You had to fit it in their box.
Yeah. And I'm like,
do it the right way.
Exactly. And I'm like, what I'm doing is out of the box.
Right. I don't know how to say what I just taught them, but it's working. Their lives are getting better. They're feeling better. They're happier. Yeah, I feel you on that for sure.
Yeah. So that's when I said, okay, Gerda, you know what's up. You've known for a long time what you're here to do. Yes, it is to create impact, but trying to fit in somebody else's box to do it is not the way for you.
Not gonna work. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay.
I love this conversation so much. I mean, already for so many reasons, but one of the things that I love talking to people about is their moment or many moments when they realize, like, I have to pivot. This is not, you're following what you followed, all these different pathways that were right for you. But each time you kind of got to a point where you're like, and that's the end of that one. And I'm going to take everything I learned and then I'm going to pivot and I'm going to go in a different direction. Mm-hmm. And I just freaking love hearing people's stories about it because people are so afraid to pivot. They're so freaking terrified. And and I know I've been there so many times, but I think when people can hear, those of us that have actually done it and like said, no, I'm going to get out of that job. I'm going to shift. I'm going to do this other thing. Like, it might not make sense to other people, but this is what I know I have to do. I love it.
Yeah, mm-hmm. So, absolutely. Yeah. It was very, I think it was easier for me to leave the mental health and counseling world because there was a knowing even before I went in, right?
Yeah.
That I don't know about this, but before I count it out completely, let me give it a shot and see. And as much as I love the people that I was working with, I love the transformation they were receiving. I was like, I have to choose me.
Yes.
And
great. Yes. A million times over. Yes, yes, yes. Choose you. And then everyone else benefits from that too.
Absolutely. And leaving the massage world was a little bit more challenging because I enjoyed being a massage therapist. Like I said, it opened my world. I learned so many different modalities. I learned how our body really have immense capacity to heal itself, right? Mm-hmm. And that to me felt somewhat limited because most people, the way massage is in the mainstream is like, you have a pain, I have a whatever, go and rub it out. Right? Come and do this trigger point technique here. And then the pain will go away. Only to come back.
Temporarily, usually. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I loved about that though is because I was learning these different modalities, I was able to go deeper with people, like, craniosacral techniques and other energy medicine modalities. And I would ask people questions and they're like, how did you know that? Or they would say, this part of the body hurts. And then I would work in a different part of the body. You know what I mean? So it was like always like, it's not where it is, where the symptom is usually not the cause. So that was very interesting and fascinating, but yet so many people were still trapped and I need to get a massage, this will fix it. And what I really love about a lot of the energy modalities that I've learned over the years and, manifestation techniques is that it empowers you. I felt like there were still like people didn't feel empowered. They felt like, oh, I'm going to come to you and you're going to fix me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you for sure. And I feel like just, I know that you and I both are still so passionate about the body work, whether it's through massage or whatever, but I think what you're saying is, it's incomplete without starting to get into the consciousness part of it and go, why are my muscles? And it's funny, as we're talking, like my left trap is like, it's like, I don't know why, like my trap thinks I'm talking about it, but it's like, why is my muscle doing that? And without the consciousness piece of it, it's just doesn't get us where we want to go typically. I mean, Yeah.
I mean, I've been on such a journey, even with my personal story of my body. So over the years that I was working as a massage therapist, I suffered with chronic pain.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
a lot of the modalities that I went on to learn was because I was trying to get out of pain.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. Heal thyself. Yeah.
Yeah. And the pivotal moment for me was like, I had crazy back pain. Like my thoracic region always felt tight, always felt, the word that I would use was stuck. It just got to the point. It just would not go away. I would do massage. I would do all the things. It would not go, like it wouldn't shift. And I just kept saying, oh, I feel so stuck. Every time I would go for a treatment, they would ask me, well, explain the pain. Like, what does it feel? And I'm like, I don't know. It just feels tight. It just feels stuck. And then when I started to do the deeper consciousness work, I got into EFT, really got into EFT.
Mm-hmm.
And I unleashed so much anger that was in my body. And I recognized that's how I felt in my life. I felt stuck.
Yeah. It's amazing how that works. Like, oh, no wonder my body is showing me that. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And I'm totally with you, by the way, on the anger part of it. I feel like, I mean, I love all aspects of EFT, but I think that was the one like channel of energy that I didn't like. I don't think I truly had access to that anger channel in an appropriate, or I don't like the word appropriate, but in a healthy way. You know, it was either like it would blast out or it was like not there at all.
Yeah.
No, I'm not angry. That's not me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 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 It was like, it wasn't that I wasn't angry. It was, I was dismissive. Right. I would either go from 0 to 60, or it's like, forget them, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And not realizing that anger was being turned inward. And because I had that experience for myself, and I also work in an industry where I know a lot of other massage therapists were always in chronic pain. And I was like, what is up with that?
Right. So curious.
Right.
So curious.
What is up with that? And I started again, like I said, I realized like that's because I felt stuck, because I knew there was a deeper desire. I knew there was something bigger in me that I needed to bring forth, but I had no clue. I had the massage thing, I had the counseling thing, I had the yoga thing. You know, I had like all the things, and I was like, well, what do I do? How does this work into a thing, into a business, into something? And when I went on that journey, when I made the decision, this is happening one way or another, there must be a way to do this, which is, you know, like around the time that you and I met, because I was on that journey of like, quote unquote, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I started to do the deeper inner work. And I started to get results with classes that I was offering. Clients were coming out of nowhere, like through referrals, or like different things started happening. And I was like, this is interesting. And what I also noticed within the community of healers that I was a part of, there was still struggle to get people to fill up their classes. There was still struggle to earn money doing the work, this work that they're so passionate about. But yeah, here I am. My classes are like filling up, selling out. Like what? Yeah. And I was like, what am I doing that they're not doing? And I realized it was the deeper inner work, the deeper like standing and owning my space, and the deeper valuing myself, and owning that the work that I do is valuable, that I deserve to live well doing this work. I deserve to get paid well doing this. So my whole being started to just command that, which most people don't do.
I have goosebumps. I love that. Yeah, I think healers and coaches and kind of spiritual entrepreneurs can have that starving artist kind of MO, right? Yeah. Where and they're kind of like in battle with themselves and don't realize they're not owning that worth, and they're doing all this energy work. And I love energy work, all aspects of it. I mean, I freaking love it all. But I'm with you. I see that too still, where there's like, you can kind of look and you're like, but why? Like what they're offering is very valuable. Why aren't they magnetizing that into their business? And kind of taking that same, like being like, oh, okay, they haven't commanded that energy. And then I'm assuming that's where you went with it after that. You're like, oh, hell no, I got to help other people do this too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Once I got over the guilt,
Mm-hmm.
I have to say that because
Talk to me about that. That guilt shit is legit.
I went through this period where I felt guilty. I didn't want to tell people that I was having success because I don't know, there was like shame and I don't know, thought people would hate me or like whatever. So I collapsed everything unconsciously, obviously, with the guilt. And then I became one of those struggling one and like, why isn't this working for me? And then I realized that that's what I did.
You were shining and you went, oh, hell no, this is not safe.
Yeah, it's not safe. It's not okay. But what about them over there?
Yeah.
It's not fair that I have all this happening and they don't.
Yeah. And I went through this huge thing too. And I would be curious to see what you say about this, of that spirituality, like, oh, but there's all these spiritual people and they're struggling. And I want to make a living helping people, like, and owning that and feeling guilty about that, but also feeling like, am I less spiritual because I want to make this into a real business? And I truly want to be successful, and kind of the self-doubt around that, around like, am I less spiritual? Am I less enlightened? So to speak, and really battling that. And now I think that is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that was a lot to work through for me. And I will say that it still comes up at times.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Absolutely. So I did a couple of things. As you're talking about this, I remember one of my defining moments. I had many kitchen floor moments.
Yeah. Same. Just had one not that long ago, which is why I'm doing the podcast. It's like, time to pivot again. Here we go. Let's go.
That one, I would say, was probably the last one that I had, because something shifted in my awareness and my consciousness. And it was just like, no, I am having this no matter what. Because it's spirituality. And for me, it was like spirituality intertwined with religion programming that, within Christianity, at least for me, because that's what I grew up with.
Yes.
That your rewards are in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that had always been like, how is this benevolent God that people talk about allows it to be okay for me to be in suffering and struggling in this human form? But when I go into heaven, someplace away over there where I don't have a body, I'm just a spirit, I will not have any needs for any of the things that I desire now. And then I'll get it. I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
Something doesn't make sense here.
Something doesn't make sense. And I was like, you know what? Because I would spend days in my head trying to analyze and whatever. And I said, you know what? I don't care. I really don't give a shit. I just want the truth.
Yeah.
That's like, I literally, it was like the sand in the line moment. I was like, I just want the truth here. I don't care about dogma. I don't care about religion. I don't care about anything. I just want the truth.
The universal truth, not a personal truth, not a religious truth, not a spiritual truth even, right? Like, what are the bigger truths? It's crazy. I must have been picking up on this conversation because I was pondering those exact thoughts, like almost word for word this morning. And I was like, oh, that's why I was already picking up our conversation. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. And once I got that, and I was like, it does not. And so let's just say the truth started to reveal itself to me. And I started to see like how much distortion that not only myself, but like as a society as a whole, that we've been functioning from this idea that your rewards are somewhere in heaven, and nobody really knows where heaven is. Right. And this idea of God being this, crazy entity outside of you,
a man out there.
Yeah. So that shifted a lot for me. I started to, like I said, own my energy, own my divinity. I started to really align with teachings that talks about self as God, self as divine, and that self as creator, and that we have all the power within us. Like I'm God, you're God, right? We're all from the same source. Like there's nothing that you have that I don't have. And especially being a brown person in this country where people want me to believe that I am less than or limited because of my skin color. And I say, fuck that. I'm sorry.
No, fuck it. It's my favorite word, actually. Yep, it is.
And I was like, I'm not gonna fit in that box. So and I'm not gonna fit in the box.
And good for you. Yes,
for spirituality. No. Yeah. Because I was like, I know better than to fall to that. The universe, the truth is the truth. Like people talk about, oh, this is my truth, this is your truth. And when we move beyond that, there's the truth. That's what I'm interested in.
Me too. Yeah. Yes.
And the truth is I'm powerful. I can create anything I desire. But if I don't believe that I am, I won't. If I believe I am limited, that someone out there has the power and someone out there has to give me something, or something out there needs to change in policies and whatever the hell for me to have what I want, then I will not have it. I will continue to wait for that thing to change. No, the change is here.
Yeah.
In your consciousness.
Right. Inside.
Exactly. And that's really what started to unlock for me. I started to leave a lot of communities that were still in victimization of the system, or, well, healers can't get paid, and, all that BS. Yep. And I started to find people who were having it all, having, their spiritual self, like their divine self, and they were creating wealth, and they were creating abundance, and they were serving at the highest level. I was like, that's what I want.
That's what I want. Yeah.
And so I am going to go for that.
Yeah. Hell yes. So I would love to hear more about, because I was reading this is another funny little synchronicity. Because I woke up this morning and this is another thing I was just kind of thinking about. And I was thinking, I love working with, I think right in alignment with you, like I love working with spiritual entrepreneurs and coaches, woopreneurs. And I was like, how do I say that without saying that, woopreneurs? Because that just sounds really dorky. But then I pull up your bio and I about fell over. I was like, oh, this is how you say it. It's right here. So on Guerda's Instagram, it's the official Guerda Victor, by the way, which I just love. It says, supernatural woman, wealth activator for modern day mystics. I help supernatural women create thriving businesses online while living their magic. Spiritual disruptor. I was like, okay, there it is. I help supernatural women, modern day mystics. Yes. Oh my God. So I laughed because I was like, oh, that's how you say that. Yeah. Woopreneur, without sounding like such a dork.
Yeah. But I will say, Kelly, what I came to realize is that we all stream consciousness in different way, meaning woopreneur could be exactly what your people need to hear from you.
True. It's a good point.
So that's what I started
to me, but
that's what I started to play with. Even things like that, where I'm highly creative. I'm highly I get a lot of downloads, right? And I go, oh, should I do that? I can't do that. Well, maybe da 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 da. And again, this was a growth edge for me to say the things, to say the things as they come through. Because when I am holding back, I choose to see, because I'm divinity. So divine is always expressing through me. So I'm not going to hold back. And will that make some people feel uncomfortable? Absolutely. Am I everybody's cup of tea? No, I'm not. Am I okay with that? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I feel like that conversation around the discomfort of holding back gets kind of lost in translation sometimes. And I think, I don't know, I'd love for you to talk about your experience with that, as far as what there's an actual real pain that comes with holding back too. And a mental, I think that's where a lot of our mental fog comes from. And just the pure pain of holding back that creativity and the way that the source is like trying to expand through us. And we're like, no, I'm not going to do it that way. No. Like I just did, right. With the woopreneur thing.
Yeah.
Partially, I think that's just hard to say too, but yeah, like talk to me a little bit about that discomfort with holding back.
Yeah. So obviously, as you can sense, I have a lot of fire. I speak with a lot of fire.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I've had to navigate through most of my life is, this, like, I'm abrasive. I just say the thing. And that got sort of deconditioned, where I would try to find what's the most diplomatic way to say things. And that didn't really work for me. Not that I'm saying, to go out there and be rude to people. Right. But I'm also not going to modulate myself, because what you said there is so important, because it pains us. It pains your soul when you do that. Right. Because we want to be liked by everyone. We want to keep everybody safe. Actually, everyone is responsible for their own safety. We live in a world where people are walking, especially these days, everyone is walking on eggshells around each other. And no one is really standing strong, standing firm in their true power. And if we're looking at the truth, the universal truth, you're powerful, I'm powerful. And we can both be in our power together. I don't need you to shrink for me to be powerful. And you don't need me to shrink for you to be powerful. So if I walk through this world believing that is the ultimate truth, the absolute truth for everyone, then I'm not modulating myself. They may not be able to handle what I have to say because they are unaware of their true power. They just gave it to me because they allowed my words to trigger them or whatever, without recognizing the trigger is a gift for them if they're willing to unwrap it. It may have come in sandpaper.
Oh, yes. The trigger as the gift. So true. Yeah, I think that's been a huge journey for me, is recognizing all this crap that I feel that I wish I didn't feel. I think I came into the EFT world initially feeling like, I'm just going to clear that out and then I'm never going to feel that again. And, like gain control over my emotions. And I was really surprised that as I heal, I'm actually a much more passionate and more emotional person. Yeah. But yeah, those triggers are like, I always tell people, like solid freaking gold. Find the trigger and then trace it and find your power.
Get excited about them.
Get excited and be like, oh, hell yeah, I was triggered there. What can I do with that now?
Exactly. Yeah, I was the same way. I was like, I'm going to learn all the tools that's going to give me my power. And what I was doing was the same thing. I'm going to use all the tools so I'm never triggered.
Yeah, right. Like I'm just going to be up in the sky, like floating above everything. I'm going to transcend the earthly plane. Yeah. And I think the other thing too, like you're laughing and I'm like, I really did. I was like, I'm just going to rise above it all with this tapping, right? Almost give myself a lobotomy so that I'm not human anymore.
Exactly.
And instead, I'm just way more emotional. I just have like super high awareness of where I'm emotional, and I love my emotions now. Yeah. I'm not in battle with them.
Yeah. You have greater capacity, right?
Yeah.
To be not only to be with yourself and your thing, is to be with other people. Yeah. The work is not to get to the point where you're never triggered and no one can fuck with you and all this and that. And it's just like, no, it's your ability to hold. And with that, it's like, if you can't hold the emotions, your day-to-day, how are you going to hold the bigger things that you calling into your life? How are you going to call in the wealth, the abundance, all the things that you want? You can't even hold this.
Totally. And going back to what you said earlier, I was just thinking about, in that same vein, you were talking about how, you're doing all this deep inner work and like this emotional healing, and you're magnetizing all of these clients and these, these huge groups, and then you're watching other people not do it. And I think to like speak to that point, people, I think, really need to understand that we magnetize from our emotions. And so if it's stuck, right? Like how many times do you see people in business, like doing all the right things out on Instagram, out on their website, like they're doing all the things, but like when you really, if they'll open up to you, they don't have clients.
Right.
Or you're like, what the fuck is going on there? Right. But it goes exactly what you're saying. Like if they're not able to hold that and do the emotional healing and have the full expression of that emotional experience, they don't have that magnetism and the consciousness to pull it in. Right. And they just, Yeah.
And the thing that I would add to that is also there's like this need to save everyone, which keeps people from actually serving the right people.
It's so true. Yeah.
So what I saw within several communities was this, like, I'm going to make my thing affordable or accessible so I can serve more people. And I'm like, I mean, there's so many things that's in our language today. I'm like, oh my God, like make this accessible. And I'm like, accessibility is relative. You may have a $97 offer. Someone might still say, I can't afford that.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it really comes down to really owning your value. And what I teach people is to not charge your worth, because people are not paying for your worth, right? Your worth is not in your client's pocket.
That's not theirs to give, right?
Exactly.
Ooh, yeah, I love that.
Your worth is in you. So like every time I see people say, oh, charge your worth, I'm like, oh God, let's stop charging your worth.
Gerda, I love that perspective. I want you to say it again so it can like really sink in. Sink in. Don't charge your worth. Just own your fucking worth.
Exactly. Just own it.
And then they will show up to reflect it back to you.
Exactly.
The right people.
And even if they don't reflect it back, you still got it.
You still got it. Yes. You're not giving it to them. Oh man, I think that is so powerful.
Yeah. Your worth is not in other people's pockets. It's in you. You own it.
I'm writing that down right now.
And that was huge for me. It really let me go of a lot of the struggles that I had with wanting things to be affordable and what are people going to think if I charge this. It took away, and it took away a lot of, well, I need to do so much work to charge my worth. It's like, I don't need to do any work around that. I own it. Because what I see happen with people too is like, they're like, I'm afraid I don't have the confidence and I can't charge. I need another healing. No amount of healing, you can get all the healing. Ultimately, it comes down to you making a decision.
Yeah.
So that is something that I really drive home for clients, because it's so many people are stuck in, well, I need to do more inner child healing and I need to do more of this and I need to clear my chakras. Don't get me wrong. Like I can get down with all of that.
Yeah, same.
Right. And ultimately, because that's when I started, which it's part of the journey. That's what I thought. I thought the tools had the power.
Yeah.
So I was going to do all
There's
the
tools.
Yeah. Because they have the power and they're going to give me the confidence. They're going to give me, do we have things that we're holding on to we could let go of? Yes. But when it's like, I use the analogy of a hammer. A hammer is a powerful tool. If a hammer is just in a toolbox, it's just a hammer in a toolbox. If I take the hammer out of the toolbox and I hand it to my 7-year-old nephew to nail something in the wall, and then I hand it to my 15-year-old nephew to nail something in the wall, and I hand it to their dad to hand something, guess what? Different strength is coming. Does that make, you know what I'm saying? So where's the power really?
Yeah. I think that I went through this too. So I still go through it, honestly. You know, it's like the cycles that like come back around. You think you've conquered something. And then all of a sudden I'm like, mother effer, there it is again. I think anytime we level up, we kind of come back to those foundational issues. And you're like, I thought I was on my worth, but damn, there's that again. Right.
Yeah.
And then you go deeper into it. But I think honestly, just recently I had a new like epiphany of exactly what you're talking about. Like, it's just a tool, right? I'm obsessed with EFT. It's my baby. I combine it with a million other things, but it is still just a tool. And at the end of the day, we have to make the decision that says, I want to do the thing and I'm willing to be scared, right? Like the tapping can help us clear the fear and help us feel safer. But I love what Brene Brown says. There is no courage without fear.
Yeah.
And that to me was like, ding, like, oh my gosh, I can't get rid of the fear because then I'm never in courage either. I'm never taking courageous steps. And if they go together, like I want to take courageous steps.
Yeah.
And this tool helps me do it, but I still have to choose fear and courage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's so true. So these are all the things that really shifted things for me in a different way. Because I will say, like, I went through so many periods, even with chronic pain in my body, where I just felt powerless over pain. I felt powerless over money. I felt powerless over like everything, right? And I kept doing all this inner work so I can get my power back. And I would get a little bit of it and then it'd be gone again. I'd get a little bit of it. I guess I need a new tool. I guess I need a new heal. Again, the tools are amazing. But now I am at a place where I truly own that I am the power. And because the tool don't give you anything that's not already in you.
Right. It's just unlocking what's already there.
Exactly. It's just unlocking what's already there because of our human minds, woundings and conditioning we can't fully access when we're in our wounds. So the tools help you to move beyond that identity of wounded self to your sovereign self. It awakened what's already within. So now I use the tools in so many different ways. Like I've honestly flipped all tools
on their head. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm like getting into a creative space now with it. More so than before it was like, you do it this way. And then like just going like, well, could we try it like this? Ooh, that worked. That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, when you use the tools from an empowered place, you get so much out of it and you come out of things so much quicker.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, oh, I'm waiting for this tool to work. I'm waiting for this tool to work. It's like, oh, wait. I'm the one working the tool. Yeah.
And it just occurred to me that's a way that we like stay in that victimization, right? Yeah. Oh, my tools haven't worked yet. My tools haven't worked yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes we just have to be like, I'm not there and I want to be there and I'm going to take action.
Yeah. Yeah. And oh my God, you saying all the things that I have struggled with. And again, like I said, flit, like even the not there yet. And it's like, well, where is there?
Where is there?
Will I ever get there? Like I'm here for expansion.
Yeah.
I'm here for expansion and growth. So where do I really believe I'm going to get to a place and then it stops? No.
Right. And that must be just something that we picked up in our programming, but I have to remind myself of that too still. Like, no, I'm not there, but there is no there. Like we came here to learn and grow and expand, just like you said. And remembering that. And I think just you saying that is such an awesome reminder for me. Like I want to just have fun and be in the expansion, the experience of that. And let go of the there, knowing that I still have a desire to expand in the conscious way that I want to. So I'm going to like steer it and manifest what I want.
Yeah. And I love how you say steer your consciousness, because that's very much what it is. This is where the power of choice comes in, where you can recognize that, oh my God, I feel like shit today because I'm thinking, oh, I'm worrying about this and that. And if I sit in that and think I have no power, because what does it say? We're always manifesting. We're always creating. There's never a time that you're not creating. There's never a time you're not manifesting. And there's also never a time that you're not choosing. Whether you're in the illusion that you're not doing these things, you're still doing them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like recognizing, okay, I'm in this thing here. What choice do I have here? What's available that I'm not accessing? Or what am I not choosing, really?
Yeah.
And sometimes if there's really things that needs to be unlocked, it might take a little bit, but like I'm still no. Like the choice is clear though. It may take a while for the shift, whatever I need to detach from, whatever the story is that I need to detach from, because it's all stories that keeps us stuck.
Yeah. Lies.
Exactly. Believing to all sorts of illusion. And then your body is an indicator that you believe in a lie. I actually shared a post about this, was it 2 days ago? The lies, like one tool that I share with my clients is to ask, when you're feeling that density, when you're feeling that heaviness, is to say, what lie am I believing that is creating this? Because it certainly is a lie. And that's why you feel the density in your body, because the lie is always heavy and the truth is light. So
powerful.
When I have that awareness, I'm like, oh, okay, Guerda's believing some lies right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. And it kind of just keeps us in a sense of humor about it too, that like, this is just part of the human experience, that we're gonna be like, oh, there it is again. I'm believing a lie, and I'm gonna go try to find it and shift my consciousness.
Exactly. Yeah. Having a sense of humor makes a big difference.
Doesn't it? It's everything. Gosh, we take things so seriously.
Oh my God. Having a sense of humor makes this so much more. I can't even find it. It's not even tolerable, but it makes it fun, right? You don't feel like pleasurable. Exactly. When it feels like because then you don't want to be working on yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Like we're always working on myself, working on my mindset. That's like another form of hustle.
Right.
And it's a lot of energy that you're exerting. But when I'm like in fun with it, I'm like, ooh, I'm triggered. Okay, let's see. And I get like excited. Ooh, Guerda's believing some lies here. I mean, I will talk to myself in the third person.
Same. I'm so glad I'm not the only one that does that. Yeah, I'm like, oh, hey, Kelly, look what you're doing. Look what you're doing. You going to have that thought? You should probably follow that. What's going on there? Or like some nasty thought will come through my head and I'm like, that was mean. Look at you being mean to yourself.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy, but tell you what, when you can catch those thoughts, it changes everything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Guerda, this has been so much fun. Like, I'm like, maybe we need to just have the Kelly and Guerda show, the Guerda and Kelly show, because this is so fun. So hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah.
Where can we, two questions. Where can we find you if somebody's interested in learning about your work, getting in touch for, working together? And do you have any upcoming programs or anything that people should know about?
Yeah. So on Instagram, I am the official Guerda Victor.
Perfect.
And on Facebook, it's just my name, Guerda Victor. I'm actually hosting a vision board party January 2nd. I call it Not Another Vision Board Party, where I will be sharing all my manifesting and consciousness hacks to actually
that sounds fun.
Supercharge your vision for 2022 and beyond.
How do they get signed up for that?
Yeah. How do they get
signed up for that? Is that on Instagram?
Yeah.
Also?
Yeah. Okay. The info is on Instagram and Facebook as well. And I have my 3-month group program, which is Super Conscious Manifestation, which is basically accessing your super conscious to really attract and manifest the things that you desire into your life with ease, joy, and pleasure.
Ooh. Are you launching that at the beginning of the year as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
That will be actually in February.
Okay.
But like it'll start in February.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, lady, this has been just so much fun. Yes. And I am so grateful to be able to like see you and bask in your beautiful energy and like soaking up all of your worthiness, like osmosis right now. I love it so much. So thank you so much. If there's anything else that we missed that you want to throw in, let me know. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up and we'll do this again soon, I'm sure.
Yes, this was awesome. Like, this is the thing that I can talk about all day long because I am really, truly passionate about people really awakening to their true self and fully living in the embodiment of that you are the power. You are the power.
Yes. Yes. I need to just hire you to just like talk to me and pump me up.
Be your hype girl, like, hype woman.
Yes, I am. Awesome. Thank you so much, Guerda.